وبالله ومن الله وإلى الله وعلى الله وفي الله ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. May the peace and blessings of Allah be on the noblest of the prophets Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his household, his companions, and all those who follow in righteousness to the day of reckoning. I take this opportunity to welcome you to yet another edition of Ramadan in 10 minutes on RAANOD TV. As we have been doing since the beginning of the month of Ramadan, for the first 10 days, we are learning from the lives of some previous prophets. We also remind ourselves of some of the things that were said by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And by way of reminder, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said there are two happiness for the one who is fasting: the time when he breaks his fast and the time when he meets his Lord. These are the two joys. These are the two happiness that there is for the one who is fasting. So let us reflect upon that. Today, by way of learning from the lives of previous prophets, we want to learn from the life of Prophet Dawud alayhi salam. And so let me begin by saying, after Musa passed away, the people stopped doing what was right, what they were commanded to do by Musa alayhi salam. So they will get attacked by bad people and will be killed. The people will come and take their land and jail or imprison some of them. Allah decided to send a prophet to these people who will come and rescue them. And they also made a pledge to Allah that should they get a very strong king who will lead them, then they will fight the enemy with the king. Indeed, Allah listened to their cry, and Allah appointed Talut as their king who came to lead them. But when Talut came, then the people reneged on the pledge, the promise they had made to Allah that should we get a very strong king, then we are going to fight along with him. One day, a strong army came to fight them, and this army was led by a very brave warrior who had never lost a battle before. That warrior was called Jalut, who is popularly referred to in English as Goliath. He led the army of the enemies to come and attack the people. So when he came, a few of the soldiers got frightened that, hey, how are we going to fight Jalut, who has never lost a battle before? Today is going to be our end. But some of them also had trust in Allah. And so they relied upon Allah and said, definitely, Allah is going to see us through this victory, this battle. And Allah is going to grant us victory over Jalut. Then the army of King Talut went forward praying to Allah. They were apprehensive. They needed an assurance that could guarantee them victory. So they prayed, as has also been captured in Surah Al-Baqarah, Quran chapter 2, verse 250. What was the dua that they made? They said, Rabbana Afrik alayna sabran wa thabit akdamana wa ansurna ala al-qawmil kafirin. That is, our Lord, pour out constancy on us and make our steps firm. Help us against those that reject faith. Because Jalut and his people, they never believed in Allah. They only counted on their strength, that was what was going to give them victory. So after this prayer, Jalut challenged a person from King Talut's army to fight with him, who was going forward to fight, although they had prayed to Allah to guarantee them victory. But the question was, who wanted to step forward to fight? Then Dawud alayhi salam stepped forward to fight him. He had a very tiny body. So Jalut looked at him and said, what can this tiny body, what can this small boy do to a strong soldier like myself? But because Dawud alayhi salam was counting upon Allah, he put his trust in Allah, and he knew that victory was going to be assured. And so Dawud went towards Jalut and threw a stone so hard that it hit his head, and he fell down and killed him. When the army of Jalut saw that their leader Jalut had been killed, then they took to their heels. They ran away. King Talut was pleased with Dawud alayhi salam. He recognized him, he honored him. So when Talut passed away, then Allah made Dawud alayhi salam the king, who came to rule over the people. He also assisted them because of the way they were always fighting their enemies. But they realized that fighting with a strong arms was a difficulty for them, and they didn't know how to use it. So they approached their leader Dawud alayhi salam and complained to him. And Dawud alayhi salam also prayed to Allah, who assisted him and granted him power to change iron the way he wanted, to make light armor, so that they could use that for their wars. And indeed, Allah granted them several victories. Now, even as I try to bring my presentation to an end, I want to look at an incident that happened during the time of Dawud alayhi salam, where his son Suleiman alayhi salam came in to assist. So they were there when two people appeared before the court of Dawud alayhi salam. Then one person said, I have a farm, and this man's sheep, that is the goat, they entered my farmland and destroyed my crops. I need justice. Then Dawud alayhi salam said, okay, then you take his animals, and he also take your destroyed farmland. Suleiman alayhi salam sat there, and he thought the way his father had adjudicated the case wasn't the best. So he said, Father, called the father aside. Say, Father, I think what you should have done was to first ask the one whose animals went to destroy the farmland to go and prepare and plant the things for the person. And then, whilst the person has planted and waiting for the germination and all that, the one whose farmland was destroyed will milk the animal milk until the farm is ready, when he can also benefit from his farm. And then you hand over the animals to the person, and then he also goes back to take his farmland. Dawud alayhi salam sat down and realized that indeed what his son has said will be the best. That is what will bring peace amongst the people. And he said, yes, I have changed my So let's do what my son has said. There are lessons to be learned here. First one is that we should always trust in Allah and not count on our strength like Jalut did. Secondly, we should even listen to our children. They may also have some ideas to share that may be helpful. May Allah help us to learn from the way of Dawud alayhi salam and bring this into our lives. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.